Hey, welcome back to the channel. In the last week or two, there have been posts about what the new Season 4 theme for Diablo 4 is going to be. There was an article posted by Proner on their Diablo4.life website wondering if Season 4 is going to be the Season of the Iron Wolves, originally posted as Season of the Werewolves. What is shown here is an emblem of two wolves facing in opposite directions, which seems to resemble the Iron Wolves emblem, which is a mercenary organization within the world of Diablo. Now, instead of going through the countless amount of text that was data mined for the Season 4 patch and guessing at what the theme is going to be, I'm instead going to answer the question, who are the Iron Wolves? In Diablo 4, they can be found in Khajar at the Iron Wolves encampment waypoint, but the origins of the group are found much earlier in Diablo lore. But before I get into that, this will be my first Diablo lore video, so if you are interested in these kinds of videos, let me know. Leave a like or comment to help push the video out to more people, because lore videos are something that I've been interested in making for the Diablo games, but I just don't know if there's an audience for it. And to be transparent, there's no point in making a bunch of lore videos if no one wants to watch them, or if YouTube isn't promoting them and no one knows they exist. So, with that being said, we go back to the question, who are the Iron Wolves? Now, before we can learn about the Iron Wolves, we need to learn about their leader, Asheara. If we take a look at the Book of Tyrael, there is a small section on Asheara that says, Asheara spent many years as a member of various unscrupulous mercenary outfits. Despising the brutal tactics employed by these groups, she eventually forged the Iron Wolves, an order of sellswords that holds honor and duty above all else. I know Asheara to be strict with her followers, but also even-handed. In the games, we first run into the Iron Wolves back in Diablo 2, Act 3, on the Kuras docks. The year is 1264, and Asheara can be found in the first building on the left after disembarking from Mashif's ship. Whereas the Iron Wolves are wearing chainmail under padded red robes, helmets, gauntlets, gorgets, breastplates, Asheara is shown with just a halter, loincloth, and a snake named Misty draped around her shoulders.
Hello there. You must be a great adventurer to risk coming here. My name's Asheara, and I lead the mercenary band of mages known as the Iron Wolves. We've been hunting down demons in the jungle for months, but no matter how many of them we kill, they just keep coming. Seems this whole place has been overrun by evil. Rumor has it that you've come here to help. If that's true, then I'll let you hire some of my mercenaries. But be careful. If you piss them off, they can be worse than those monsters out in the jungle.
We can also gossip with her where she talks about trying to recruit Natalia without any luck, betting that Mashif wished that he never came back to Kurast, or that the Iron Wolves and her have made a good living around here lately, as we will soon find out ourselves when leaving the beginning area. From there, we can hire her mages like she mentioned, and they share the same skills as the sorceress playable character, with each mercenary focusing on only one of the three elements that the game gives access to. Some mercenaries focus on fire, some on lightning, and some on cold. As the rest of Act 3 continues, Asheara starts to trust the adventurers more and more. After igniting the Gidbin altar, a possessed rat man comes out of hiding who is holding on to the actual Gidbin dagger. Retrieving this and handing it back to Ormus in town allows him to reinforce the spell that is protecting the residents on the Kuras docks. Talking to Asheara once more, she says that her soldiers have been inspired by the adventurers, and some have even volunteered to accompany them free of charge. After Mephisto is defeated at the end of Act 3, Asheara congratulates the Wanderers and welcomes them to her clan.
Well done, my friend. You are a great champion of order. Please consider yourself an honorary Iron Wolf.
This would be the last time that we see Asheara and the Iron Wolves in Diablo 2, but it's not the end of their story. Whereas the Iron Wolves were just a mercenary group who happened to find work in Kurast, and Asheara was mostly just the person we would talk to when we needed to resurrect our Act 2 mercenary, in Diablo 3, the Iron Wolves led by Asheara would play a much bigger role. There is a 20-year gap between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, and when talking about Asheara's rise to power with the Iron Wolves, a lot happens behind the scenes. Now, even though Mephisto was defeated, Kurast never recovered, and soon Emperor Hakan and the nobles would flee to Chaldeum, which would then become the new capital of Khajar. Throughout Act 2 in Diablo 3, the Nephilim collects an abridged history of Chaldeum, which talks about how the city was thriving with Emperor Hakan until he got sick and passed away. the Zakarum priest felt pressured to replace Emperor Hakan, and through a, quote, series of elaborate rituals, whether or not anyone knows if they were actually legitimate, the priest selected an infant from a poor family in the north to be Emperor Hakan's spiritual successor. As we read in the Book of Tyrael, the Zakarum Church hired the Iron Wolves to retrieve Khajistan's new ruler, Hakan II, from his home in the northern reaches of Sanctuary. With the task complete, the Iron Wolves became the Child Emperor's personal guards. This single event has elevated the mercenary company to a level of power and influence hitherto unheard of for an organization of its kind. And Emperor Hakan, this is the Child Emperor that the Nephilim encounters in Diablo 3. Almost immediately, Chaldeum started to decline. Poverty was increasing, people were getting sick, and there was constant fighting between the Zakarum, the Mage Clans, and the Trade Consortium Council, basically the Council for Chaldeum. A few years later, we learn in a servant's journal that Emperor Hakan II had forced the staff, including the Iron Wolves, out of the city.
I wouldn't go over there if I were you. Some poor fellow fell to his death from the wolves.
Is there no one to help us?
My little Hakan has become so cruel, so paranoid in the last few weeks. I hear that he has ordered all of his staff to leave the city, or he will have them thrown from the walls. He cannot possibly mean me. I have cared for him since he was an infant.
While the Iron Wolves were fighting the demons being summoned from the Coven, an Imperial Guard was created to protect the citizens of Chaldeum. This new Imperial Guard would become Hakan's new armed forces, while the Iron Wolves had a never-ending fight against the demons. Soon after the Falling Star event, the Nephilim travels to Chaldeum and meets Asheara, who tells the Nephilim where they can find Magda.
Are you guarding the refugees over there?
I am not a guard. I am Asheara, commander of the Iron Wolves. We saved these refugees from Magda's coven. It even now wreaks havoc throughout the borderlands.
Where did you last see her?
She's heading toward Alcarnus, but has blocked the road behind her. However, there is another way. Through the Kasim outpost.
After freeing the Iron Wolves in the Kasim outpost and talking to Captain David, the Nephilim learns that the Imperial Guard is working with Belial, the Lord of Lies. After traveling to Alcarnus and slaying Magda, the Nephilim once again meets with Asheara to talk with Emperor Hakan. It does not go well.
You are bold to have sought this audience with me. My guards tell me you were responsible for the massacre of innocent villagers in Alcarnus.
Your guards lied.
If you are innocent, then why do you have spies skulking through my sewers? Bring her in!
Let me go!
I detest violence. Guards, I leave this matter in your hands.
Asheara helps the Nephilim and Leah escape to the sewers, and later on when Belial starts raining fire on the refugees, the Iron Wolves help them to get to safety in the sewers as well. Not much later, Belial is defeated by the Nephilim, and Asheara and the Iron Wolves help the city of Chaldeum return to its former glory.
Do you wonder what will happen in Chaldeum now?
The true Emperor lives, and he has many allies to safeguard the city.
Asheara will be there to keep the peace. I only hope they rebuild wisely. I've seen the ruin that Leoric and Diablo brought in Tristram. I would not wish it upon Chaldeum.
This now takes us to Diablo 4, and there are a couple items in the game that give us details on what happened to the Iron Wolves and Asheara. The description for the unique amulet Word of Hakan says, "Let the great gates of Chaldeum be sealed. Let its proud walls stand fiercely defended. The rest of Khajitan may suffer this plague, but my city and my people will not." Proclamation of Hakan II. This tells us that after the events of Diablo 3, the world of Sanctuary got a lot worse. Demonic invasions, the Drowned taking over the coastline, different wars going on, more sickness among the people. Emperor Hakan just decided to shut down the city. And if you still haven't played the campaign for Diablo 4, let's just say that there's something big hidden under the city of Chaldeum. The other item being Asheara's Khanjar, which is a unique rogue dagger. This item says, when Chaldeum's gate closed, Asheara led her Iron Wolves out of the city, knowing full well that they would never return. Instead, they roamed Khajiitstan, pledging their blades to any who were in need. And this is true because we can find them on the map just northwest of Chaldeum. There are a handful of quests that can be completed from different Iron Wolves, but none of them really seem vital to Diablo lore. Other than her dagger, there hasn't been any sign of Asheara in Diablo 4, but hopefully that changes in Season 4 and we'll get to meet her again. Thanks for watching. Once again, this was my first lore video that I've done. Diablo lore is something that I've always been interested in learning, but I've just never really taken a deep dive into it. And when I saw that the Iron Wolves were going to be in Season 4, I knew bits and pieces from playing the previous games 10 and 20 years ago, but I wanted to know more. And since there's over 20 years of Diablo lore, I've got plenty of material here to keep me going. So let me know how I did, anything that can be improved upon, or any video suggestions. But other than that, if you made it this far, thank you, I appreciate the support, and I'll talk to you soon.